Almost all the Torah readings that we have in this area of the Torah begin with the same words, Vayedaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying. The exception, of course, is this week's Torah reading called Tetzaveh, where it begins, Ve'ata Tetzaveh, and you shall speak to them, saying. Notably absent from the Sidra, from the opening verses of the Sidra, and the entire Sidra as a whole, is Moses' name. It's not found to be anywhere. And this is highly unusual. For if we comb through the books of Exodus and Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy, we find Moses' name conspicuously present everywhere. We're here, noticeably absent. And why is that so? I mean, it's implicit. Ve'ata, and you shall command, says God. The you, of course, is Moses, but carefully avoided. Is his name being cited? One wants to ask, why is this? There are two interesting responses to this question. One of them is the date. You see, we observe the birth as well as the death dates of every singular Jewish person that is meaningful to us throughout our existence, throughout life. We remember our parents and our grandparents, our cousins and our aunts and our uncles. We remember their birth dates and their yahrzeit, their death dates. Moses's, we remember too. Even though it occurred so many years ago, we've not lost track of it. It's Zion, that is to say the 7th of Adar, which always comes at this time of year. The birth date of Moses and the death date are the same. Moses was born into the world and taken from it on Zion Adar. And since we are observing his yahrzeit and his birth date at this time, one explanation for his name being absent from the Sidra is because this is his time. And because this is his time, and because Moses was such a larger-than-life character, his name is going to be conspicuously absent, so we shouldn't give him too much kavod, too much power, and not import it instead to the one whom it belongs to, which of course is God. The other response to the question as to why Moses' name is absent, after some of the terrible events that occurred with the Jewish nation building the golden calf and rebelling against God with the bitter waters of Marah, God threatened to destroy the Jewish people, and Moses' response to God, having heard that, was, if you're going to do that, mecheni, erase me from your book. And God relents and says, I will honor your word, and I will keep the people alive and give them yet another chance. But because when a tzaddik, according to the Talmud, speaks and says something, the words carry great relevance and carry a life of their own. When Moses uttered the words, erase me from your book, they had to be carried out, they had to be honored. And so as a result, Moses' name is expunged from this particular parasha, this particular book of the book of Exodus, to show that Moses' curse upon himself carried forward. And perhaps the great lesson that emerges from this one episode is that what we say matters, what we say counts. In a moment of anger, when we utter something that we regret, those words stay. They don't go anywhere. They remain steadfast in the minds of the hearer, the listener, and in the ears of the universe. When we say something that is regrettable, when we say something that we ought not to have said, the words have a lasting effect always. These are the many lessons that emerge out of the very first verse of this week's parsha. Enjoy the balance. The repast is beautiful.